Good morning. Here are my wash curls. Give me a second. Okay, now I'm back. Hi, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to the once again early version of Tuesday Tea with Annie. I had to move, I made the decision to move our Tuesday talks because, just to give you a little update on what's going on in my life, I've been doing some leadership training with youngsters, with kids, middle schoolers and high schoolers, and it has been one of the most humbling experiences of my life. But it takes place in a schedule that does not allow me to be on at 9 a.m. anymore. So I'm going back to my old habits, and this is why I have bags under my eyes, because when we make decisions and we commit to a bigger mission, and that's how I feel, and that's what I feel has been happening with me. I've committed to the bigger vision of potentially helping young kids not need me in the future and hone their leadership skills and hone their abilities early on in life. So that is kind of like the little update and why I'm here up at 7:30 after cooking and all that stuff that I do in the morning. But I'm here today to talk to you about something that I've learned, that I've been reminded of by these kids. And not necessarily by them and the way they act, as in they're modeling the idea. They have made me realize how much further I get to come in my personal leadership journey when it comes to giving away my power and giving away my peace of mind. And hi, Michelle. And the way that this has happened is when I mentioned that working with kids, working with young people is humbling, it's because, let me tell you something, they don't give a fuck. I mean, kids, when they're in this growth process, when they're preteens, when they're teenagers, that's when they start developing their defense mechanisms. And at that age, their defense mechanisms a lot of the time looks like indifference. So for me, it has been a really challenging time not to give away my power to moments in which maybe 2 to 3 years ago I would have been completely exasperated. I would have been completely angry and I would have lashed out on kids. Because when we have the tendency as human beings to give, and to give a lot and give to give, I'm giving to give. Maybe 3 to 4 years ago I was giving to get. When I used to give, I wanted to get something back if it were only in the shape of attention. And if I didn't get that something back, I gave away my power in one simple way. I took things personally. I translated the other person's behavior as a personal offense, as a personal attack on myself. I used to believe that whatever somebody did around me was a reflection of me, was a direct offense, like I mentioned. Now, how is this giving away your power? Well, think about this. How many times have you laid in bed just ruminating on something somebody did, on something somebody said? How many times have you lost sleep? How many times have you gone over and over and over again in your mind about something that happened, about how this person might be thinking about you, how they're totally doing this because they have it against you? And even though that might be a little paranoid, let's face it, a lot of us think about it. A lot of us have these ideas of how others are operating because of us or in function of us. I come from a family that sadly works that mindset a lot. My dad, who has undiagnosed PTS and just recently was diagnosed with anxiety and started getting in treatment for it, has that mentality of people being after him. So he takes things personally, from what I do to what my mom does to what his colleagues do. And that, I have seen, is the worst way a person should live their lives, because they are giving away their power constantly. It's a way of being depleted, angry, anxious, because you have no real certainty that somebody is operating in a matter that's meant to affect you. Actually, nobody is. And this is the realization in which you take back your power. When you realize that the sun does not shine out of your ass, and people are operating according to themselves. People are operating because of the conversations they have in their own heads. You are operating because of the conversations you have in your head. It's not by any means going to affect someone's behavior more than yours. And the same thing happens with other people. So the next time you find yourself in a situation in which you might be feeling hurt, or you feel like somebody's operating in a way that will affect you negatively, you get to decide whether you're going to spend hours, days, weeks being affected by this person's behavior that might not have anything to do with you at all. And I'm going to repeat this. People's behaviors have nothing to do with you, just as much as what others think about you is none of your business. When you give away your power by taking things personally, you are stagnating yourself, okay? You are working against yourself, because people's behaviors are not meant to affect you. They might be meant to grow you. How you choose to respond to people's behavior every day will move you forward, will keep you where you are, or will move you backwards. Gary Vee says actually that there's no stagnation. You either move forward or move backwards. There's no middle ground. So you might want to think about that, because I feel like when I'm not moving forward, I'm definitely moving backwards. So I'm going to repeat this real quick because I think it's important. Today is going to be a very short and sweet video because I'm getting used to this morning thing again. When somebody does something and you immediately jump to the conclusion that it was meant to affect you, either positively or negatively, and this is important because it's all about how we see ourselves, okay? And this is something that I've struggled a lot with because, like I've mentioned before, anger and rage used to be my home, and that's where I pitch my tent, okay? When you think that other people act in function of you, you are giving away your power by reacting. You are giving away your power by ruminating, by wasting time, by going over conversations or going over situations wondering, what does this mean? The reality is that there's only one way that you can get to that answer, is actually asking it, and that is one of the things that we do the least when it comes to taking back our power. Rather than asking for the answer we need or asking for what we want, we ruminate, we blame people, we go into this deep dive of what ifs rather than going for the answer, because we are too afraid of getting the answer that we might not like, or an answer that we might not like. So the one way to take back your power is one, realizing that the sun does not shine out of your ass, and people do not operate to piss you off, to anger you, to make you sad, or to hurt you. Maybe some people do, but you would need to understand that it has a lot more to do with them. It has a lot more to do with what they think about themselves. It has a lot more to do with how they view the world, and your reaction has everything to do with how you think about yourself, how you view the world, and how you operate. So when you're capable of not taking things personally, when you are capable of not taking on what other people project on you, that's when you're going to start finding freedom. And to me, I thought that I was so there that I never took anything personally, that I was above these things, because, and you can actually read this in the book The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. If anybody has not read it, it's starting their path in personal development. This is one of the four agreements. Do not take anything personally. And like I was mentioning, I've read this book a few times. I thought that I was there, and then I started working with teenagers and preteens and high schoolers. And it reminds you that these muscles of personal development need to be exercised on a daily basis. So you need to start practicing. You need to start going into yourself and really understanding what makes you tick, what makes you operate the way you do, and scrutinize your actions, not in a guilt-driven way, but just really figure out, why am I reacting this way? Why am I feeling the way that I am feeling? And in my case with the kids, it talked to me about my self-importance and how much I respect myself and drawing boundaries. So now that's well, I'm going to interrupt myself. Chandra says, I love The Four Agreements. The Four Agreements is a book that can change your life, and I love that you've read it, Chandra, because it's kind of like the first steps to personal alignment, I believe. So if anybody catches it, read it. It is wonderful. So yeah, people, stop taking things personally. The sun does not come out of your ass, and the way you respond to things will determine more of your results than the way others act around you. So have a great day. Enjoy your tea, your coffee, or whatever. And if you have any comments, thoughts, concerns, please drop them up. I am Annie Woods, and this was Tuesday Tea with Annie.